out. And I didn't know how important magnesium is in our bodies, but it is required for over 400 biochemical responses in our bodies. That means without magnesium, our bodies do not work correctly. Magnesium is a huge source of energy in our bodies. So when magnesium is low, we've got all kinds of symptoms. And one of those symptoms is, I'm going to tell you a lot of them, which many of you may have these symptoms, because a low estimate says that 7 out of 10 Americans, 7 out of 10, 70% of all Americans, and they say that is a very conservative number, are low in magnesium. Okay. And there it's a mineral. And you know what? A lot of reasons that we are low in magnesium is because of our food sources and our soil. Our soil is depleted. So when our foods are grown, we don't have the minerals in there that our bodies need. I was looking at some of the resources about what spinach used to be like just about 100 years ago as compared to now, as far as magnesium goes. So in the old days, one serving of spinach had basically enough magnesium for us for the whole day. Do you know that today it would take 100 servings of spinach to make up to that one serving of spinach? Isn't that crazy? So magnesium, I want to talk about the symptoms first. There are many symptoms. And when I read a lot of these, a lot of them applied to me. And it applied to my mama. And I said, Mommy, you need to take magnesium. And she said, well, Allie, I've had a blood test and they didn't say I was short on magnesium. But blood tests do not come back. They do not show you that if your magnesium is low or not. You have to do different testing actually to know if you're low on magnesium. A blood test simply cannot tell you if you are low in magnesium or potassium. And the reason is, it can't even tell you about potassium because whenever you're low on magnesium, you will be low on potassium, but the potassium will spill out into your blood. So it doesn't look like your potassium is low, okay? And so one of the symptoms of this is having just sore, twitching muscles, eyelids that twitch, muscles that are stiff, achy, restless leg syndrome, those kind of things. I have dealt with for many years, very tight muscles. I have very tight muscles, muscle twitches, eyelid twitches, all of those things that is one of the biggest actually symptoms of magnesium deficiency. Okay. And when that magnesium is deficient, I told you that you are also deficient in potassium. Potassium is the number one mineral that we are deficient in, usually in America. Okay. And number 2 is magnesium. But here's the thing. If you take potassium without magnesium, your body will not absorb it. So you have to take magnesium. Magnesium is like the doorway that opens for all the other minerals to come in. Without the magnesium, you can't absorb the other minerals, including things like calcium, vitamin D3, things like that we need, guys. So I'm going to talk about this and just some of the symptoms of this. First of all, like I said, it's muscle spasms, muscle aches, pains, twitches. I have restless leg a lot of times, and it's something I can't control when I'm trying to go to sleep, and it drives me insane. Another thing is anxiety, which I have had very much of. I have PTSD, so I have anxiety, not as bad as I used to, thank God. But that is not being able to control your stress is another symptom of low magnesium. High blood pressure is a symptom of low magnesium. Insulin resistance, Jeff, that's one Chris will want to know about, is a symptom of low magnesium, okay? Low magnesium, if you have let's see, muscle tone. That's another one. Muscle tone, you know, magnesium will help increase your muscle tone. And many of us have lost muscle. And so we want to think about that. Irregular heartbeat, where our heartbeat skips or races. My mamas would race. All of a sudden, they can't figure out why. Irregular heartbeat, weight gain, hormone imbalance. So because magnesium is magnesium is such an important process in all, you know, over 400 processes in our body, it affects us from our muscles to our insulin to a lot of things, guys. So constipation, that is another one I have dealt with most of my life. Constipation, and I started taking magnesium at night before bed. And I want to tell you, I sleep better. I don't have restless leg at night. My muscles have loosened up. I can go to the bathroom every single day, guys. Some of us ladies, especially women in this group, and it's very chronic that we deal with constipation, guys. We need to be going to the bathroom every day. If you're coming on here to lose weight, why is that important? Why am I talking about magnesium? Because if you're not going to the bathroom every day, you are not going to have proper weight loss. If you come on here, I have women that come on here with chronic constipation, can't do the bathroom at all, and they do not lose weight. Once they start going to the bathroom, initially, yes, they lose weight, but secondly, it continues as time progresses where they weren't losing at all before, guys. So it's important to processes, even like weight loss. All right. Osteoporosis. Why? Why is that related to magnesium deficiency? Because we can't absorb calcium like we should. So if you're dealing with osteoporosis, you want to make sure that you are taking magnesium. All right, guys. Insomnia, high blood pressure. I talked about that. Arrhythmia. I talked about that. Let me see, what am I missing? Hormone imbalance, guys. That is a big issue. Us women with hormone issues where we're going through menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, we've still got those fluctuating hormones, estrogen dropping, testosterone's free for all in it. And we need to make sure that we're taking magnesium because it helps to balance those hormones. Okay. It's so important. What am I missing? Type 2 diabetes, because we can't regulate our insulin, is related to magnesium deficiency. So there are a lot of things, guys, that I probably even have not mentioned. And I want you to consider taking magnesium daily. I take a magnesium that is a powdered drink. The reason I want you to take something that's like a powdered that you put into water is because when we take those hard pills, like the potassium hard white pills, you can't hardly, I've tried to break them up with a spoon and stuff, and you cannot barely break the things up. So what happens is when we take those hard magnesium and potassium white pills, what happens is they go into our bodies, and our bodies usually just take them out. They do not process them. They cannot break them down. And so because pills are unregulated by the FDA, we want to make sure we're getting a good source of magnesium, potassium, because all potassium and magnesium is not the same. You want to make sure that your body can absorb it. So I use Calm. It is a powder I put in my water at night. It takes 2 teaspoons, but I want to caution you right now. When you take a magnesium pill, maybe some of you have said in the past, I've taken magnesium in the past and I really didn't notice any different. If it were a pill, that might be why. When you start taking Calm, I'll tell you this, that you can get diarrhea very quickly. Okay, so you will want to build up to the dose. You do not want to go take 2 teaspoons of magnesium because you're going to get cramps and you're going to be in the bathroom praying it will stop. Okay, so make sure that you come into this magnesium and potassium thing, because potassium does the same thing. It will help you go to the bathroom. Okay, and so if you are having constipation, ladies, please, please, please make sure that you are taking magnesium and potassium, the powdered. kind, or the capsule kind that has a powder in the gel caps. Okay, take those kinds. There are all kinds of magnesium to take. There's magnesium citrate, there's magnesium, all kinds to take. Magnesium citrate is the one that is absorbed by the body most easily. And so that's the one that I take. And I use that calm drink. It's just simple. You can get on Amazon, you get it Kroger, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens. And it doesn't taste the greatest. So you might want to put it in something. I'll put it in some water with some lemon, or water with my BCAAs, because I have some BCAAs that actually taste good now. They taste like peaches. And so I'll put my calm drink in there. I've also ordered my potassium. I don't have it yet, but I should have no problem going to the bathroom after I have both of them. And so I'm excited to get that in the mail too. So please look into it, guys. It helps with things like low stomach acid. When our acid in our stomach is low, we cannot absorb our minerals and all that. So it helps with things like that even. So guys, please look into it. I don't have all the answers on magnesium and potassium. If I were you, I would reach out to my local doctor if you talk to your physician about it. Also, if you want to do some research, there are some great physicians on YouTube that talk about the importance of magnesium and potassium. So I'm bringing it up because I love you guys, and because, I don't want you dealing with things like kidney stones. Believe it or not, low magnesium, you will have kidney stones as well. There's all kinds of symptoms to this thing. And so I'm dealing with you guys because some of us have a hard time losing weight. Some of us have a hard time building muscle, and we have lost muscle tone. And magnesium is going to help with all of that. Okay, guys? So please look into it, and let's all take it, but be very cautious when taking it, and build up to the normal levels. All right.
Allie, can I share something?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been taking magnesium for about 15 years because I went into the pharmacist because I used to get migraines, and I was refilling my prescription. It was a kind of pharmacist that actually makes the drugs. And he asked me about them, and he said, "Do you take magnesium?" And I said, no, at the time I didn't. And he suggested I take, it has to be 500 milligrams, but he suggested I take 500 milligrams every day. And I kid you not, my migraines went away. Yes. And even to this day, if I get a slight twinge of a migraine, all I have to do is take a few Tylenols and it's gone. I mean, I used to be laid out for 3 days with migraines. And wow. Every single person that has migraines all the time that I have suggested that to, their migraines have gotten markedly better. So anybody that suffers from migraines, it has to be 500 milligrams, but that's very easy to find, where you can, mix it up enough with powders to get to that level. But it's been a lifesaver for me.
Mm-hmm. So. You were so right. Yes, magnesium does help with that. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one I forgot to mention. Migraines, definitely. Yeah.
So.
Anybody else? I had a question. Take magnesium only at night. You can take magnesium in the day or at night, but the reason I take it at night is because it helps me to sleep. It will help you sleep. Okay, that's why it's called, the magnesium I take is called Calm, because it really does. I have a problem with sleeping at night. Many of you women do. I don't know about the guys. I don't work with guys that much, so I'm not for sure how that goes for you, Jeff, as you age. But women, we have hormones that are going crazy, and we can't sleep. Losing sleep affects weight loss too, guys. Chris is actually, Chris mentioned to me, Jeff's wife, Chris, said that her doctor told her, he was talking to her about sleep, and he asked her, she was talking about weight loss and how she was having a hard time. And he said to her, if you would get your sleep right, if we can get you to sleep, you would have probably lost 10 more pounds over the last year. Guys, that is like major, because when we're not getting our sleep, it really affects our weight loss, believe it or not. So all these things like constipation, low magnesium, and all of that, with no sleep, this magnesium can really help in so many ways. I'm one that's up 2, 3, 4, 5 times a night. If I get up only 3 times, I'm feeling great about it. And I used to get up 5, 6, 7 times a night, and just getting up 3 times is much better. So I'm getting better sleep. I hope to God that changes where I don't have to get up at night at all. But that's where I am with it. So I think part of my struggle with my weight loss actually was me getting up 6, 7 times at night because I wasn't sleeping well. And so magnesium really has helped me with that. Okay. Fibromyalgia, that's another thing. And listen to this. I forgot to mention this. If you have fibromyalgia, you need to take magnesium for sure. But listen to this. Taking magnesium will decrease your, how do I want to say that? I want to put it in the terms that they put it. Your risk of heart disease by 70%. It is the #1 killer of women in the United States, heart disease. Taking magnesium will reduce your risk of heart disease by 70%. I kid you not. Isn't that crazy? So guys, we've got to take it. If you think about that, and I don't know how that works, but if you think about that, our heart is a muscle. And so the way the magnesium affects our other muscles, like me, it helps them to not be so tight and stressed. Imagine our heart being that way. That's why we've got the skipping of the beats and the heart's racing and all those crazy things. So make sure you're getting it in, guys. Okay. Anybody else?
I'll add that, like normally I get my cholesterol and triglycerides checked like every 6 months because it's just hereditary. And that blood panel that they do does not test like what you're saying. But I went to an acupuncturist for a sciatic nerve, and she looked at me and said, "Look, you've got inflammation all over. If you want, I can help you." So she set up a blood test, and when I went in, the ladies there at Quest Diagnostics were like, "You have a really great doctor." I'm like, "Well, she's an acupuncturist, but thanks." But she did a whole blood panel. I don't know what it's called, but I mean, I got my magnesium score on it, but she found all the things I'm allergic to that I need to stop taking that, my iron, just all kinds of stuff that normal blood work doesn't do. So maybe ask your doctors about a full blood panel. Like, don't want the whole works. You have to have good coverage, I guess. Sometimes if you don't have good coverage, it's very expensive, but if you can do it, it's well worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. All right, guys. So how is everybody doing in the challenge? Anybody having any issues that we need to talk about before we go? Anything at all? Wade's ready. Wade's ready.
Can we keep the weekends out of it?
You bet. If you want to lose,
If you want to, you can.
if
Yeah.
you want to lose, you just go
Absolutely.
ahead.
I
And
want to win.
do
I want to win.
You can still have your cheat meal for sure. But
Yes.
man, I would
We
be
have our
careful.
Friday night cheat meal, that's for sure. But the cheat meal is becoming less and less cheating, as more than like making sensible cheat choices. So
That's what I like to hear.
you know,
That's
it's
awesome.
still great food, but it's like, a little bit less. Not
Yeah.
so fried. So yeah, we make the best of it.
That's good.
It's excellent.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Allie, I had a question. Hi, everybody. I've been out of town for the last 2 weeks, so it's nice to finally be here with y'all. I actually had a question that's not related to calcium. Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
So in the, darn it, my phone is low on battery. Okay, in my research I've been doing about hormones for women as we're going through perimenopause and menopause with weight loss, some of the folks are saying like if we're still having a cycle and when we're on our actual cycle, they're saying that we can have like 20% more calories on the days that we're hungry. And I'm having that experience today. So I'm curious, I just put all my macros and everything into the Fitness Pal add to your suggestions, but I'm finding that I'm still really hungry today in particular. So I kind of like try to go with when it's my cycle, like what my body is wanting, because I'm I'm eating whole foods, you know, like my carbs are not rice. It's like sweet potatoes and things like that, you know, salads and stuff like that. But I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about that.
Well, I've never heard that. I do know what you're dealing with because I've dealt with the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
even before, I mean, I'm like a week before and I'm going, holy cow, I just like craving food. And it's because your hormones are doing this, you know. But here's what I would suggest first before you add that, and you're welcome to add that. This is your journey. It's not, you know, it's not this is what you've got to do and we can't defer from this. That's not how we work over here, because this is meant to be a lifestyle diet. Okay. So we have to take this at your pace. So number one, if you're hungry and you feel like I gotta eat, because you know, then go eat, go grab you something, but just know, okay. But number two is, I would say this, always check to make sure your fiber's on point, because it helps keep you more full. Another thing is make sure your protein is on point. Okay. And if you're getting your protein and your fiber in, what protein sources are you getting your protein from? Because a protein drink is going to leave you hungry, whereas a piece of protein meat is going to keep you fuller for much longer. And the reason that is that the drink is basically processed so much so that it can pass through your body really quickly. But the meat, your body has to break down to use. And so it's a slow protein, whereas a drink is a fast protein. So make sure that if you're getting hungry, the first thing I would look at is, am I getting my protein in? Am I getting my protein from meat and veggies, but mostly from meat? Am I getting my fiber in? And if you're doing all those things, another thing is, remember, we are on a calorie cut. There are going to be times you get hungry. So that just happens. But if you're to that point, Deborah, you've got to lay it out there and go, okay, if I'm going to do this, what's that going to look like for me? And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. You're still going to make forward progress by getting to your goals. Just don't sabotage it, and don't let yourself just go crazy like it's cheat meal every month. You know, 'cause it'll set you back. But
that sounds reasonable. Thank you. And I do need to increase my protein. I was originally doing like 20% proteins, and now you're calling for 40% for me, I think. So that's a big difference. So I'm still trying to manage that change. And I think this week is just going to be the transition week. So thank you. Hopefully that question is helpful for other people too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. And inside the bog garage, I know everybody kind of gets tired of meat, right? Especially us ladies and the chicken. And so inside the bog garage, I put some things for protein, like protein options that aren't meat. And so it's under the help section, along with the fiber is under the help section inside the bodgarage.com. Just log in. And I need to add to that. So if you guys have any ideas of protein, like the other day we added Smoothie King, because you can get a Smoothie King shake with protein in it, and you can keep to your calorie goal if you really, really know what you're ordering. And so I put a few suggestions in there. Another lady got 40 grams of protein at Jamba Juice in a drink that she really enjoyed. There's all kinds of things that we can start adding to this list that help us get that protein in, because, you know, if you're a 1,300, 1,400 calorie diet, ladies, and you're looking at 140 grams of protein when maybe you've only been getting in 30 or 40 a day, that is a huge jump. And you know what? We need to make sure that we can get it in ways that are like some things like Greek yogurt, things that it's not all meat, because that as all meat is just a huge amount, right? A huge amount of meat. 140 grams of meat is a lot if all you've been eating is 30 to 50 grams of protein. So, woo, jump. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
I guess I had one more question since I'm still new. In some of the other Zoom groups I'm on, usually people are muted unless they're speaking, and just only because it affects the sound quality. There were a couple of times your voice was glitching out, and I mentioned it in the chat. I was like, I'm new. I don't want to be like bossy about that, but I'm just curious if you have a policy about that, because it just makes it easier to hear what the speaker is having to say. And I'm hearing like beeps and like people chatting with kids and stuff, and it's not too bad compared to some of the other Zoom meetings, but it just makes it easier to hear you. So I'm curious if you have a group agreement about that or not.
Yeah,
or,
we don't, we've just, but you know
Okay,
what?
cool.
I can set up the settings where it doesn't, where it just kind of mutes everybody's mic. And that's probably what I need to do. And if you'd mute your phone, that'd be great.
This is our dog.
If you can talk to her, just mute the beeping.
You take this in another
Yeah,
room.
sorry. I'm so sorry because I know I'm new here. I don't want to be like
No,
bossy
don't
at
be-
all.
No, I'm being bossy to him on purpose. He can handle it, Deborah. He can handle it. Anybody else have anything? I agree with you though. It is hard, you know, and a lot of times it's hard to keep on track. It's just like me letting everybody in all the time or Wade having to let everybody in. Really, we just need to use the code so that I'm not going like this the whole time, because it is the truth. If the wind blows, I forget like what I was saying. So for sure. Anybody
All right.
else?
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I heard the gentleman say that he got blood work done. The
Yeah.
test that I had done was based on my hair follicles. So they actually pulled hair out and they test that because supposedly that's more accurate than even blood. And I had that done at a holistic practitioner office here where I live.
Huh.
And we found out a lot of, well, I sent you the report. It was 30
Uh-huh.
pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hair follicle tests. They're very good too, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So if you have access to that, that's another good way to find out, you know, what you're deficient in.
For sure. I've not had one of those before.
Yeah, I had not either until just a couple months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of detailed information on yours for sure. It was crazy how much stuff
There
they had.
was.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I found out at Epstein-Barr and I never even heard of it before, so, and like my level, you're supposed to like 0.32 and my level is like 2.5, which means my whole body's been fighting some virus for like years and I just didn't really realize that that's what's going on.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've noticed a big difference since taking the Epstein-Barr thing that I take droplets of it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Another thing while we're on here talking about tests, Wade, tell them about your test that was so easy to take for your heart check.
Can I talk now?
I'm gonna hurt you. I really will hurt you.
Yeah.
What, it only costs like $75.
75 bucks.
right?
Yeah. So every 6 months, Allie and I decided that every 6 months we're going to have a complete physical. Okay. I mean, I think it's just a smart thing to do for men and women. So at my last family doctor meeting that I had with him, he follows me very closely. And he's like, you know, I want you to have this scan done. And he said, it's a scan of your heart. It shows all the valves and it shows whether or not there's any calcium buildup in any of your arteries. Okay. I'm like, huh, okay. So we went, I don't know, 30 miles. We went to close to Brentwood and a place called Primary Radiology. So we went in and I had this this whole body scan. It was like a CAT scan. And it actually checks your heart and actually the lung on the left side also. And there's a scale 0 to 400. And of course, I had no idea what it was going to come back because I'd never had something like this done before. And the test came back and he said, well, he said, this is not very normal. He said, but you're at a 0, which means there was no calcium at all in any of my main arteries. Now, that's not to say that there's not a smaller vessel, but the main arteries going in and coming out of my heart were completely clear, which was a really good thing because I have on my dad's side, there's heart disease. And actually my grandfather, my dad's father had a massive heart attack when he was 74. So, and my dad had a heart attack when he was 51. but it was one of those heart attacks where you didn't really feel it. It was more like he got sick, like he felt like he had the flu, and he went back and had an EKG done, because this was several months after his father had passed away, and he wanted to make sure that everything was okay with him. And his enzymes came back that were completely different from the EKG he had 2 months ago. So they knew that there had been something happen in that time frame, and it was over Christmas. So yeah, that was very, I was very pleased at the results of that, and it was just boom. It was just $75, and you can have this scan. It's completely worth it. Okay, it's $75. So I'm actually gonna have that done probably every year, to be perfectly honest. I don't know how often you can have that scan, just due to the fact that they're running you through that machine. But yeah, it was it told you so much information that it was unbelievable. So
Mhm.
yeah, so we're gonna do that. And I'm going to make sure that Allie does it too when I do it from now on. That's the same place we went and had our body fat measured that time. So
Yeah. And the scan we did for body fat was so cool, because it also told us whether I had osteoporosis, those kind of things. And so Deborah said, then what's the name of it? It was called Premier
Radiology
in our town. It's just a radiologist, and
yeah, that's all they do at this place. Scans,
Mhm.
all type of scans, organ scans, your Skeletor.
And we are
Skeletal.
her phone went dead, and we are in Nashville, close to Nashville, Tennessee. So that's where we got it done. Well, listen, guys, anybody else have anything, or we're going to go ahead and close up because we're running late.
Stay on point, guys. Look, you're only 5 or 6 days in. Okay?
Yes, it seems like longer than that, because we've been talking about it forever. I'm like, really?
I know some of you thinking, holy crap, this is going to be forever, but it actually is not. It's going to go by pretty quick. The initial shock, some of you guys that are new, the initial shock of all the changes that you're making, it can be exhausting mentally, but it will get easier for you as the longer you do it. It's just going to become part of your daily life. So once you get to that point, as long as you stay focused and you don't weeble wobble in and out. Okay, guys, I can't tell you how disastrous that can be. Okay, don't be weeble wobbling in and out. Don't do it for 2 days and then off for 2 days, and then do it for 2 days and off for 2 days. You're not going to get the results.
Right.
Okay.
Right. You're not going to get the results you want at all.
No.
Oof. Yes. We've tried that. It's frustrating.
The easy way to look at it, 50% in is 50% out. That's what you're going to do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else?
I'm so sorry, my phone died and I didn't hear. I'm in California, so I wasn't sure what scan it was you were talking about.
Well, you're fired, number one.
No.
It was called it's almost like an arteriogram, but it's just a scan. Okay, scan of the heart.
We'll find it. We'll send it to you.
Yeah, it's more like an X-ray. Okay, but
Okay.
it is so detailed. It's so much more than an X-ray. It's on the scale of an EKG as far as how defined everything is. But it not only did it check my heart, but it also checked my lung on that side too. It checks everything on that side. So
what we'll do is we'll find the name of the test and we'll put it up for you guys so you'll know what it is. Okay.
absolutely, yeah, perfect.
All right, guys. We're out of here.
All right, I'm going back to get on my phone now.
Love chicken.
Sorry, trying to run a business.
DEXA
Sorry.
scan. Chris,
Thanks, you guys.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next
DEXA scan.
Well, no, the DEXA scan was the fat The fat thing.
Yes.
The DEXA scan was the fat thing, but the other thing he's talking about was a little bit different.
Yes.
We'll let you know what that
Yeah,
was.
we'll put it on here.
See y'all later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.